Hello.
Hello there.
Hello again. Are you representing a group tonight, Bob? Or are you?
Yes, I'm with Rena Klieg at PLG Arts.
Okay, good. Yeah. I'm a PLG person myself.
Oh, no, I went to your online
Oh, yeah.
Brooklyn Museum tours during the pandemic.
Oh, that's right. I remember now. Yes, yes. Your name.
They're enjoy them a great deal.
That's good. But I've gotten a little better since the first time. It was sort of a dry run when Rena allowed me to do it. But
Oh.
Since that time, I've been giving them for the UFT retirees.
Okay. Yeah, great.
It's been fun.
I see Rena's logged on.
Hey, Lena. Hi, Rena.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Rich. How are you?
All righty.
Are you still enjoying the sunny hours of Jamaica?
No, unfortunately,
You back already?
I'm in the miserable late winter.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't it dreary? It was so dreary yesterday. It was awful.
Oh, I can imagine. Ah, I see you guys and Steve had a good time, huh?
Exactly, yeah. By the way, you responded to my happy birthday with my daughter.
Yes, I did. I realized that afterwards.
Yeah,
I thought it was her birthday. Then I found that it was yours.
exactly, and it wasn't my daughter either.
Oh, okay.
It was a former student.
Is that so? Oh, from a tech night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I still keep in touch with quite a few of them myself. I see Rena is here. It's a pleasure to see you.
Rena.
Match the name with the face.
Normally,
Rena, I think you might be muted.
I think she is. Yes, she is muted.
Yeah, mute. There, that should be better.
Can hear you
Yes,
now.
it is. Yes, it is.
Right. Well, it's a pleasure to see you in person. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. It's a pleasure. This pleasure is mine also. Mhm.
And Rich, great to see you.
nice to see you.
Okay.
Great to see you too, Bob. But I've just spoken.
I would have. You look like the four of us are the only one on so far in the house.
How many people are there usually?
The committee, we somehow will be about 10 people if everybody shows up.
Ah, uh-huh.
And not counting, and sometimes we get guests and see what happens depending on the level of interest of what being discussed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I see Mr. McIntosh just joined us. It's muted and video's not on.
That's
That's Dorsey Gallery,
Yeah.
Magnet McIntosh.
Oh, so that's Carl. Great.
That's called it.
You can hear me?
Ah, there he is.
There you are, Mr. McIntosh.
It was muted. It was on mute.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I see everybody's there. What's your story? What we gonna do?
You're gonna tell the community about the wonderful work you've been doing in this community for the last
Many years.
decades, for the last few decades.
Yeah.
Close to it.
Yep. I will do that. Let me look for the agenda from somewhere else.
Hi, Ainsley. Hello.
And Snipinder's here.
Yes, I am.
Mhm.
I'm in the dark. Turn my light on.
It's March 10. I'm looking for March 10.
No, I can't hear anything now.
Say something.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, we could hear you, even though your camera is not on, but we can't see you.
He said he can't see me.
Have the video part on your screen?
The video control is on the lower part of the screen.
The lower part, yes,
Right.
next to the mute.
Can they see you now?
Can you see me now?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm in the house.
Macintosh
Hey,
in the
Renee.
house. Alright. So, I don't know if you guys were able to see the agenda on the website, but I don't think I sent it to a few people. But basically, we're gonna start with the welcome and greetings, roll call, then we gotta do approval of minutes. And then you guys will come in with the presentation.
Okay.
So try to keep it, we're gonna try to keep it for both of you within 15 minutes. And then now, would love for you guys to say, because one of the things we were trying to do now is do some plans for the rest of the year in terms of what activity we're gonna have, which is agenda item number 7. And you guys gonna be playing a big part of that,
Mhm.
okay? So I may ask the office to share their screen and show the agenda also. So that's possible. So let's see if we get more people in. I see Julia, our secretary, has joined us. Welcome, Julia.
I don't see me.
Amy's here. Welcome, Amy. You're
I
muted.
apologize, I was running a little late.
Now I see you.
Yeah.
How can it go in and out?
That's the way it has Zoom.
Oh,
And vice chair said she cannot make it today, so we're not gonna have
oh,
Ms. Lugute here, so let's wait to see where the other people. So we'd like to see some more people come in.
Hi, good evening, House. This is Amy Pinkerton. I just want to let you know that I'm the 347 number. I don't have audio on my computer tonight, so I called in, but I'm also, visually, I can see you guys.
Yes, you're also being shown as Amy P. So
Yeah,
so,
that's what I'm saying.
so you both places, one for sound and
Yes.
one for visual. Great.
Thanks.
Sensational.
Okay.
Thank you. And Ms. Pagan has joined us.
you are magnet, huh?
He's a magnet.
You trying to take over? Oh, they got me as you.
Oh,
I guess I'm using your phone.
oh, that's probably why.
I think the computer automatically put magnet in. But it always change.
Oh, you know, this is not magnet. This is Mr. McIntosh, Mac from the Dorsey Gallery, okay?
Correct. Yes, we did.
Okay. All right.
Dorsey Gallery? Oh my God, I haven't been there in ages.
Ah,
You see me now? Julia Bryant.
Passed by Dorsey today. Oh, my.
let me see. I have that.
Mac, you got a show coming up soon?
Who?
Macintosh. Can you hear me?
I think he should be able to hear you.
I'm here.
Yeah,
He's
you-
asking if you're having a show coming up soon.
Yeah, we will be online in about a week.
Oh,
We're doing
how
a
lovely.
virtual thing.
Mm.
You know, Carl, I got a postcard from you, well, from the gallery, of course, but it doesn't tell me how to get online to see the show.
Yeah, I got a card over there.
See, got this?
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, it really is.
Turn it the other way so I can read it.
Oh, sorry. There.
Oh,
Can you see it?
yeah.
Look over there.
oh, is that the Comanche group? Workshop?
From the collection, it says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with Wilson, Ralston, Denmark, ton
Oh,
of people
bunch of
and
people.
others.
Hey, how is, sorry. I'll think of it in a second.
Carl, did we just go to the gallery's website to see the show?
Yeah, we got a show coming up on 23rd of March.
Great.
No,
Great.
on the 20th of March.
20th? Oh, okay.
And it's called
Right.
A Show from the Dorsey Collection.
Nice.
So we'll talk to you. Are you going to make a presentation today, this evening?
Yes, he is.
Okay, well, then we can talk about it further. I have 7-Eleven. Can we get started?
Yeah, I was hoping we could get a lot more people. I think we probably will get started probably in a couple more minutes. Okay, so because we have too many people, I don't see too many committee members present. That's a question because we had to vote on some items, so we do need a quorum. But we're gonna get started. Hopefully, by the time we get to voting, we'll get a quorum. Okay. So, why
You're going to
don't
call
we-
it?
No, I'm gonna call the meeting to order in about a minute, and then we have to approve the minutes. We may have to move that when we get a quorum, otherwise we can't do it. So we could go straight from the roll call to the presentation. Okay?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, I had the roll call ready to call.
I know you're ready. Very good. Is it Khalid or Dante? Who's hosting the meeting for us today?
Hi, good evening, Mr. Almanor. It's Khalid.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
Thank
hi,
you, Khalid.
Khalid.
Yes. Mhm. All right, because I think the PLG Arts have a PowerPoint presentation and they would like to share their screen. So when we come to that, then we'll make the necessary adjustment for that. Okay?
Of course. Give me 1 second. Which person needs to share their screen?
Bob is the one, Bob Truber, who's going to
Got you.
share
Here we
his
go.
screen. Okay, great. Fantastic.
Okay,
All right.
okay, can I call the roll?
Yeah, I'd like
Okay.
to call this meeting to order. The time now is 7:13 p.m. And now we will proceed with the first. We want to do welcome. Why don't everyone introduce themselves and then we'll go to roll call. We'll start with Bob.
Bob Troiber, PLG Arts.
Okay. Next is Ainsley. Ainsley,
Can you hear
Bynum?
us?
Oh, she's muted. We'll come back to her. How about you go to your?
Ansley, we're calling you. We're calling you.
Muted.
You're
She's
muted.
muted.
Say hello.
Muted.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Julia? Julia.
Julia Bryant, Secretary, Parks and Recreation.
And Mr. McIntosh, Carl?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. Richard?
Hello, Richard Lubell. I'm on the Parks and Museums Arts committee at the invitation of Nick and who I knew at Brooklyn Tech High School. And I'm sort of the liaison for this committee to the Brooklyn Museum at this point. Also got a share of the PLG festivities.
All right. The next is Rena.
Me? Hi, I'm
Yeah.
Rena Klieg, and I'm co-president of PLG Arts. And I'm really pleased to be invited to be part of this group tonight. Thank you.
Okay. I think that person is Amy on the telephone. Amy, you next?
Aha, that's why she doesn't have a picture on.
Amy, you muted on one and you're also on the telephone. Mhm. Yeah, speak to Amy. Your phone is not muted. Can you hear us?
Let's try for Brenda and then go back.
Yeah,
to
yeah, that's what I'm about to do. And Miss Pagan is next. Okay, pleasure to have you here with us. She's also a member of the committee. So it looked like we do not have a quorum. Then why don't we proceed to phone calls to put that on the record? Go ahead,
Okay,
Julia.
okay, I'm going to just formally go through who's here and who's not.
Mhm.
So board members, Nicholas,
Present.
Naomi,
I've seen-
Amy is here, and Mina is not.
She
okay.
sent an email, said she could not make it. She could say she's excused.
She has an excuse. Okay,
Yeah,
so I will make a note of that. Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm writing and calling at the same time.
Sure.
Amy, Mina. Okay, and community resident members, Pamela, no. Ansley, yes. Julia, yes. Richard, yes. Brenda, yes. David, no. Eric, no. Okay, give me a moment and I will record. And Mina has a excused absence. Okay, and then there is Eric Thomas. I'm sorry, I did not call that name. He's not here.
Thomas, yeah, community resident member. Mhm.
Okay. So for everyone's edification, for committee, quorum is the majority of the 11 voting members. So 6 voting members will be present for the committee to conduct business with a quorum.
Right.
So at this time, you do not have a quorum.
Do not have a
Okay.
quorum. Mhm.
Okay. So we can go to the presentations and then we can go to the rest of the meeting and hopefully you'll have more people come in.
Yes. I could seek the approval of the meeting once we get a quorum. Okay. With that, we'd like to introduce Mr. Bob. How do you pronounce your last name? Twerber?
Weber.
Weber. Okay.
Weber, yes.
Okay, the floor is
So
yours.
Trevor.
I think Rita is going to be doing the presentation and I'll share the screen to show the presentation.
Sure, go ahead. Mhm.
Right, and I'm hoping that Bob will both run the PowerPoint and chime in whenever he feels it would be
Happy to.
helpful.
Let me know if you guys can see the screen.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So it's up on my computer.
Hmm. Are you sharing?
wanna share
Bob, you
screen?
should see share content. Maybe a
Share on the bottom.
tool.
There's a share
Share
on the bottom
content.
for me.
Yes.
That do it?
Yes.
So far, yes.
Well done.
There we go. It's there. We can see it.
Okay.
Thanks for your
Oh,
patience.
Is this resize thing on your little direction thing on your screen?
My screen is full size.
I know. There's a little pop-up on my screen.
Nope.
Okay, it's gone. Got
It
it.
looks fine. Yeah. Mhm.
Great.
Well, here we are. Rena, you want to start?
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. So we are here to introduce ourselves to Community Board 9, to your committee. And as we said before, I'm Rena Klieg, co-president, and Bob Troiber is a board member. We are a volunteer, grassroots, small group of people who meet to promote and present the arts. And Bob, if you'll go to the next, we'll advance and tell you a little bit more about PLG Arts. We have been around since 2006. I can't believe it's been that long, honestly. We started with the woman who was president for many years and founder, put up signs on local lampposts that anybody who was interested in the arts could come and meet at the Maple Street School. And we all sat around in chairs meant for 3-year-olds and started this group. And here we are today with a fine history and I believe a lot of recognition in the community. One of the main things that we pride ourselves on is being accessible to everyone. And part of what makes that possible is that our events are free. There is no charge, though we do always accept donations, but they're by no means required. Next. Our mission statement, as you see here, is that we present and promote the arts in this neighborhood to nurture a vibrant, diverse, and creative community. Now, I know that's really a mouthful. And if you'll hit the next slide, I can tell you a little bit more about how we go about doing that. Oops, you're not sharing now.
We share it again.
That do it?
Nope.
Not yet. Mhm.
Yes, very
Yes,
good.
there you go.
Thank you. Wonderful. Our programming is wide. And it includes all of the artistic disciplines. And here are a few examples of some of our recent and early works. On the top, you see a chalk drawing that we did when I keep saying we did. So let me explain that. That means that we brought in to produce these works a group of artists from any of the disciplines listed here on our screen. We arrange the performances or the exhibits, and we promote them, we publicize them, we pay performers, and we do not get paid ourselves. So on the right is an in memoriam chalk drawing that was done by 3 artists on 9/11 of this year to memorialize the event in 2001, of course. And our audiences for all of our, on the right, you can see it's a children's play that we did in Prospect Park at the Imagination Playground. And on the left is a show I will tell you a little bit more about later. We do live shows mostly. Now, since COVID, we've been doing most of our shows online, which is a big change for us. And we're longing to get back to seeing people in the flesh. We've had performances and art exhibits and readings and theater at local cafes, bars, at Prospect Park, and in various other public places, such as the Parkside Plaza opposite the entrance that you see here in the chalk drawing, opposite the entrance to Prospect Park. Next, please.
It doesn't want to move.
I
There we
know
go.
this is a challenge. Oh, great. Great. When, as we present our programs, we do our best to partner with as many aspects of the community as we can. We've named here just a few of the groups. There are others. There's the Dorsey Gallery. Carl is a fine representative of that, as you know, and we've done art shows and performances at the gallery. And we've brought in music to the Lefferts Manor Association's house tours. And we brought in music for Diana Richardson when she was newly elected as our assemblywoman. And she did a town hall meeting at Medgar Evers, and we provided the music for that. We've run family events, by which I mean largely performances for children that are musical and very engaging to young children. We've done these at the library branch, I think it's called the Crown Heights Library on Maple Street and New York Avenue.
Yeah.
We've done them at New York Greenlight Bookstore. We also try to help other groups as much as we can. When a community group needs a fiscal sponsor, if they're not a 501c3, which we are, if it matches our mission, we will be fiscal sponsor. We don't do that a lot, but we do it when it's appropriate. We are a 501c3, and we're registered as a nonprofit with the state of New York. Next, please. Our connections with the community. Bob, I'll let you speak about this one.
Sure, thank you. So it's a very diverse neighborhood, and we use a lot of different ways to reach people. It's not listed on here, but you'll frequently see a poster at a store or on a lamppost, postcards at a coffee shop. We have a email database of over 1,200 people, and we use that to announce the events that we have. You're probably familiar, either you're users of Instagram and Twitter or someone that you know is. We have over 650 followers on our Instagram account, and those are for the most part individuals. And on Twitter, we communicate with 155 different groups, and that's people like the Brooklyn Waterfront, Flatbush Commons, Little Caribbean, the PLG Neighborhoods Association, the Brooklyner, the Parkside Plaza Committee, the Heart of Brooklyn Cultural Alliance, as well as local officials, choreographers, theater directors, writers, art historians, community activists, musicians, attorneys. So it's very diverse. And I think because of that diversity, we've been very fortunate to get support from the local merchant community. And I think we'll have a little bit more detail about that in a minute. But the point is, you can't sit still, and you really have to go out and reach people where they are. And we have every vehicle possible, we're using it.
Thank you. An example of a series of events, we ran big events with little money, which is the story of our group life. We ran 3 annual music festivals. These were huge because we had 12 venues participating with more than 50 performers. These were week-long events with often more than one event in a single evening or afternoon. A lot of it was jazz, some of it was dance, some of it was theater, and some of it was children's shows. And this image that you see is a poster from the 2019 festival, which just gives you an idea of the performers. This shows all of the performers and lists all of the locations where the performances were held. And I'm pleased to say that the merchants where the venues were held donated the use of their space in kind so that we could have these performances.
We did the
Yeah.
graphics.
I just want to add, Rena mentioned this before, but when we have these events, we pay the musicians. This is not like a lot of places where here, do this for free for the exposure. These are people who are professional musicians. They support their lives through their performances and through their art, and we recognize that. And I think that's why we have a very high caliber of person, whether they're a painter, an artist like Carl McIntosh, or a musician, are able to attract that level of quality for the people in the community.
Yes, and in addition, when we have an art exhibit, if people sell any of their art, we don't take a commission, and we encourage as much interaction between the artists and the community as we can. In October of this year, we had a day of music and dance at Parkside Plaza, and these are the photos that you see of a couple of the different ongoings. This was a very lively event with audience participation as well as performance by the choreographer Deva Lois and her group. And this was funded by grants from Brooklyn Arts Council, and the Department of Transportation had a new initiative to help local groups produce works at performances in places like parks and plazas. And this one was done at Parkside Plaza, which we found is a great location for performances because the crowd is very mixed in that it's people coming in out of the subway at the Prospect Park station of the B and the Q line. And there's a beautiful big space in front there. And you get people going to and from the subway, people going shopping on Parkside Avenue, going to and from the park, and they stick around and they see these wonderful shows. Next, please.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Mr. McIntosh. When do Dorsey Gallery get a chance to tell you what we do?
As soon as they finish this presentation, just in a few minutes.
We're almost done, Carl. This picture that you see is from a performance that was done at the Greenlight Bookstore for children. And it's a presentation of Peter and the Wolf. Our co-president, Hollis, is doing the narration, and the musicians are people whom we hired to come and do this wonderful musical show for kids. And it's an example. We've also done a performance of The Nightingale, which is an old fairy tale that has become a musical performance as well. And the people just pour in with their children, and it's just a marvelous thing. They're usually packed. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we haven't been able to do some of these things lately. Onward, please. This is a listing of a few things that we have going on and that have historically been produced by us. There's a show at Awesome Home, which is a new outlet of Awesome on Flatbush Avenue and Fenimore Street about. And it's an exhibit of artwork that people can borrow and hang in their homes for a period of 3 months. And the idea of Gallery Particulier, which is run by Arabella von Arx, is to give people a chance who otherwise might not be able to appreciate art in their homes. And they can live with the art. If they want to buy it, they can buy it. If they don't, they give it back. Notes and Tones was a combination pairing music and writing that was curated by a volunteer, Marion Sullivan. Your very own Rich Lubell gave a series of online tours showcasing the collections at the Brooklyn Museum. Irv's, which is now defunct, hosted our music every month, once a month, for 2017 through 2019. We did a chamber music series. We did at the old, many of you who've been here long enough will remember Mike's International. It's now Feel Beauty over on Flatbush and around Maple. And this was a combination of art and music and dance that attracted over 3,000 people in the time that it was held, which was just a month. Just going right through this quickly, we produced a couple of murals And one is on Centermore Street, and another, which is gone now, was on the construction fence surrounding what is now the building where Lincoln Market is. And so there were panels, wooden panels on Flatbush Avenue and on Lincoln Road, where local artists, including children, created these beautiful panels that people could see as they walked to and from work, to and from their activities in the neighborhood. It was an incredible, wonderful thing to see.
I would just want to add that not only are we bringing these different events to the neighborhood, whenever possible, most of the time we're working with creative people who are from the neighborhood. So the Awesome Home Gallery, a gallery in particular, the curator there lives on Maple Street. Marianne Sullivan lives in the neighborhood. Obviously, Richard Lubell is a local boy. And so the artists that are doing the murals, we're giving an opportunity, an outlet for our own homegrown talent as well.
Great. And we have plans for the future. Some of it depends on funding. We are redesigning our website, and we're going to do more social media outreach. We already do it, but we're going to increase our presence. We have an artist registry on the PLG Arts website. I should say that plgarts.org is our website address, and we'd love it if you would go there and take a look at what we've got there. And you can sign up for our mailing list also on the website and increase the number from 1,250 some to your participation that way. And then you will always know what's going on in the neighborhood. We are hoping to do an Art on Fences activity, which is exactly what it says. People will who offer to show pieces of art either on fences outside their homes or even leaning against apartment buildings, so that people can walk around the neighborhood and see art. We have done a series of backyard concerts at a local neighbor who volunteers her space. And we also, if we get funding, we'll do something on Rogers Avenue, which is, as you know, a beautiful big boulevard-like street. And we would like to combine business places with performance. And this will bring people to the neighborhood and to the shops and restaurants and cafes, and hopefully increase business and expose the arts to the viewers as well.
I think,
Please.
Rita, important thing that everyone here recognizes how the neighborhood has changed over the years, and these kind of public events at Parkside Plaza and the planned event on Rogers or the walking tour for Arts and Fences is a way for people who've only been living in PLG for a year or two to get to know the neighborhood and get to care about the neighborhood. And that's really the first step for people becoming involved with their community, whether it's with a church or a political group. So there really are benefits far beyond someone being a passive and being entertained by the art. It's really a way to draw people into the community and into the neighborhood.
Yes. Funding issues, like any small nonprofit group, we are, as I mentioned, all volunteer board and staff, and we devote our time as part-time, obviously, as much as we can. We don't have a space of our own. Everything that we do needs to be located in something in the neighborhood that we approach local business people, local owners of businesses and shops to host our various activities. We've had city council granting, but that's not viable anymore because their funding processes and regulations have changed, and it's not suitable anymore for a group of our size. We have received grants many years from Brooklyn Arts Council, and they're great friends of ours, but they have to distribute the money around. We don't always get it. The same with CCNYC, which stands for Citizens Committee of New York City, and we've received many grants, including a very large one back in 2011, which actually gave us the funding to get going. We had begun a few years before that, but we knew we wanted to continue, and they allowed us to do it with their support. We're applying for a grant for right now for an intergenerational project, which will bring together artists who are older and artists who are younger, and we hope this comes through. We'll see. Next. Okay, we are well established and trusted. As I mentioned, people come to us often with proposals in addition to the ones that we dream up ourselves. We're so happy to be offered this opportunity to present ourselves to you at the community board, and we feel that we can help you, and you can certainly help us as we work together. We're hoping that we can come up with projects that we can do together and get more people to know about our various endeavors. We work in parks, plazas, and public spaces, and we also work with local restaurants, cafes, bars, businesses of all sorts in the neighborhood, Brooklyn Commons, and we are really eager to expand our relationship with the board. So thank you so much for allowing us to present to you. If you have any questions, please, you can email us, or maybe if there's time, Nick, I don't know, but if people want to ask us any questions, we're happy to answer if there's time.
Okay. Why don't we take the questions? I'm looking at the time that it's moving quite a lot. Why don't we hear from Mr. McIntosh, and then we'll put a question for both of you.
Great, great.
All right. Carl, you on? You ready?
I'm
for your-
on. Oh, thank you very much. I'm Carl McIntosh from the Dorsey Gallery. And I want to first say thank you to Board 9, because we have Dorsey's street naming on Rogers and Fenimore. It's called Dorsey's Way. And Community Board helped us in doing that. And I just want to tell you, the Dorsey Gallery, we do about 6 shows a year. And we've been doing a children's charity for 30 years, where Dorsey started the charity, and artists would donate their work, and we would send money to Kings County, buy toys, and other institutions that would children art. So every year for about 30 years, we were doing the children auction. We also let the gallery give free block meetings at the gallery, the Fenimore Block Association. We also have book signings. We've had about 3 recently. And some of the artists that we represent was Ernie Critchlow, Elizabeth Catholic, James Dennell, Otto Neal, Stylemaster. We had a free art class for about 6 years that we did before COVID showed up, once a week. And it was a free art class that everybody is still asking when we're going to start it again. But we can only do it when COVID say we can do it. So I'm just trying to say thank you very much for the community board inviting the gallery to this conference, this talk, so we can continue to do the cultural thing, the artistic thing in the neighborhood, in New York City, and in the universe. So I want to thank you very much for inviting the Dorsey Gallery. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Questions? Do you have any question? You know, you can use the, you could raise your hand with the reaction button at the bottom. So are there any questions?
Chairman,
Are
I
you
don't have
asking
the
this?
function to raise hands.
Khalid, if she wants to raise her hand, what do they use using the telephone? I think star.
It might be *6 or *9, but I believe Ms. Pinkerton, she already did speak. She's not muted, so if you'd like to acknowledge her, she
Yeah,
can.
she could. Yeah, go ahead, because nobody else.
Oh, okay. This is for the PLG group. This is the first I'm hearing about you, but I thought that, for fundraising activities, especially with the murals that are painted on construction boards, I know Bansky is a famous example, but if there's a piece of art that can be recovered, perhaps you should recover it and then have an auction. Maybe you have an annual art auction or a biannual art auction to elevate your group and to raise funds. I think it would be well received. Or maybe there's other pieces of art that you could in your network, when you have artists that either paint other materials, whether or not like a 12 by 6 board, but something else, you may be able to auction these off periodically and raise funds that way. Because I think a lot of people enjoy the street arts. I know I do. And then they're gone or they're painted over or whatever. And you kind of wish it was preserved in some way. So that's just a suggestion. But I hope.
Thank you. That's a great suggestion. We actually, I believe one of the panels was given to the Maple Street Garden at one point, but you know, those in particular got a little weather beaten because they were on the street for 2 years, and it was much nicer than seeing the construction site, but they were in a very good condition. But I think that's a very good idea to get people to donate art and then auction it off. We'll think about that. I'll add it to our meeting minutes next time.
Anybody else have any more questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
This is Dusty Gallery, not on
Go ahead, sir.
virtual gallery thing. So you can check us out on the computer, lpdbrooklynarts@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Also, let me just add, if I may, that the website for the Dorsey Gallery is www.dorseyartgallery.com.
Okay. Yes, Julia, go ahead.
It's Amy again. Oh, I don't
Julia.
want
No,
to
let Amy go. Let Amy go first. Amy, go.
Mr. Dawsey, I want to let you know that I have been to your gallery. I purchased some art there, and I really enjoyed this walking by and stopping in. And you seem to have a couple of, you know, when before the pandemic, you used to have kind of an open door and some events. Are you coming back this year with those type of events or anything like that?
Yes, well, yes, we are, because the first show we're going to do is March the 20th. So we have a limited amount of people coming on March 20th. And I think we have to have a certain amount of people. They sign the paper, we take their temperature, this and that. But if the people that can't come in, we do have the virtual show on lpdbrooklynarts@gmail.com. Because people always ask us, when are you open? So we're not open 24/7 because people don't come 24/7. But we have a sign in the window that if you call our website and make an appointment, we'll come and open up the gallery and show you exactly what we have on the wall. So you can easily make an appointment and we'll come and open the gallery for you. Anyone.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Julia?
I'd like to make a suggestion to both of the organizations that there is a weekly email blast from Community Board 9. And should you have an event that is in a timely fashion, you know what I mean, something that's coming up soon, you can send it to Khalil, and other people have done this in the past. And then everyone in Community Board 9 will get it.
Oh, that's
So
great.
it's free publicity.
Thank you.
How would we get the address?
Talk to Khalil at Community Board 9. Or just, you know, call
email.
Community Board 9.
Hello, hi. Just email BK09-1 at cb.nyc.gov.
Could you say the beginning again, please? BK
09
0. Okay. cb.nyc.gov. Great.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thanks for that recommendation. We'll definitely be making use of that.
Perfect.
There any more questions? Now, seeing none, then let me put a little bit of my piece in some of the reason why I wanted these two organizations being there. What I've noticed working toward the community board, especially the neighborhood school parks, is one area that's rarely used for the activity except playing sports. What I'm trying to propose for our committee is to plan certain activities, especially in those back schoolyard throughout, especially throughout the summer, even though the board is on hiatus for the summer. So what I would like to do to see possible collaboration between these organizations so we could plan some event at each of the schoolyard playgrounds. We have the Wingate playgrounds, we have the PS 92 playground, I think we have the Jackie Robinson playground. There's a playground on Lefferts and Albany. Most of these area of the community board are not having too many activities. I think the community board extends all the way to Utica Avenue. So, and that side of the community board is not getting too much activities. The idea is to really look at each of the parks and that there, and we will try to plan as a committee with collaboration of the different organization activity from when the weather starts to get better, June, July, if possible, August, at least June and July, instead of some activities.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, I want to let everybody know that if you've been receiving the mail from the community board, a date has been chosen for a community-wide fair. It's Sunday, June 22nd. And the location is going to be the Lincoln Avenue entrance of the Prospect Park, in which we're going to have all kind of activities. One of the idea I want to, that I'm suggesting is to really have a stage for performance, because it's going to be a combination health fair,
I'm sorry,
book fair, and
your
so on.
secretary's asking you to slow down. I can't possibly write all this in.
Okay, I'll slow down
As you're
again.
going. And if you had given me a report, we would have it. So, okay, so now we have gone to another item, and this item is now, what are you calling this event?
Which event? Well,
What you're saying is what's been voted. You've given me a date about some event. I'm writing the date, and then you kept going. So
June 22nd.
June
June
22nd.
And it's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
June 22nd, and what are you calling the event?
Well, it's the community-wide fair. This is going to be an event where every committee within the board will be there. We're going to have almost as many city agencies that we can go there, even state, city, and federal agencies. More information will be coming out probably the next couple of weeks. But basically, I just want everybody to reserve the date, June 22nd. I mean, I'm sorry, May 22nd.
May 22nd, not June. May 22nd.
No, I'm sorry. May 22nd with a rain date, June 12th.
Wait a minute,
So-
May 22nd to June 12th?
No, rain date is June 12th. These are the
Oh,
two
rain
dates.
date is June 12th. I see.
Right. So we would like to meet with these with whatever organization within the community to collaborate and participate in this particular event. So more information to come.
And
So
where's
these
the
are-
location at again, please? I'm
Is
sorry,
the
I made the own
entrance
topic.
is the entrance to the Prospect Park
Which
on
entrance? There are
Lincoln
6 of
Road.
them.
On Lincoln Road. The Lincoln Road entrance, Prospect Park. Okay, so I just want to give you these heads up, so we probably will be in touch with you, so we could start planning for all kind of activities.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's two things I spoke about to summarize. arts activity, be it music, painting, dance in the schoolyards.
Right.
That has not happened. We would like to spread it throughout the whole community board.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is the event on May 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. Great to know about. Thank you.
So with that, are there any more questions? Then we can move on to the agenda.
Right.
And
Thank you very
Julia,
much for the opportunity.
you are more than welcome. So this is the beginning of a great collaboration, I see.
Yes.
Okay. My next agenda is public commentary. Are there any public commentaries? Next agenda item. If there's anybody, please raise your hand and let us know. We invite you to guys to stay for as long as possible. Any more public going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay. Now we could move on to the Park and Cultural Liaison Institution reports. So we could start. Who would like to start? Rich?
All right. All I can say is that there's a new Himalaya section of the Asian art at the Brooklyn Museum. That's they went through a big renovation of the Asian collection at the museum, which includes Japanese, Chinese, Indian, East Asian art, and now they've sort of bolstered up their Himalayan collection. So that's one thing at the museum. The other thing that I'm particularly excited about is they're doing a hanging of about 140 pieces from the European collection that haven't seen the light of day for maybe decades or more. And it's on the same floor as the American collection, on the 5th floor. It's worthwhile. I've seen it's already up. You can go see it, and its narrative, if there's a narrative, is how women and other minorities, including social class issues, were treated in art in the 19th century, largely 19th century European art. You can imagine what that might look like. I'm going to eventually prep on it and look to tour it eventually. But the other thing is that the Christian Dior exhibition, I believe, is finally over. It was a mammoth. Did some of you go out and see it? It brought in.
I saw it twice.
I couldn't believe it.
I thought it was fabulous.
Yeah. During the time of COVID, they were getting, like hundreds of people lined up every day for that. It was amazing. It was a over the top kind of show. So anyway, it's gone. So that's all for now. And
Where's your question for those activities? Does the museum have brochure or flyers to announce them?
Yes.
don't know.
They have a newsletter. Like
Okay.
the newsletter. Come on.
They do.
Yeah, I guess
Maybe
yeah.
this is something we could get to the blast, the CB9 weekly blast for any of those activities. So that's the reason I was asking that.
Maybe if you're a member, you get something like that. Yeah.
But
You get something like that, Julia?
Yeah.
Um,
Like all the time.
yeah. So, yeah.
okay. So thank you. So I think I'm going to call on to Amy. Let us know what's happening at the Botanical Garden.
Oh, hi, everybody. I didn't know I was going to speak, but I let everybody know as of March 1st, that starts the spring season. So the Pay What You Wish I guess, program is over until next winter. There is charged entry for everyone, whether your members are free. There is charged entry, so everybody knows. Children under 12 are always free. There is an adult price of $18. There's a student and senior price of $12. And then again, there's community tickets. They are purchased online. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer. When you sign up to have a visit, it's under the non-member area when you go into the to purchase a ticket, non-member. It's a selection there, and that offers access to the garden free of charge for persons who otherwise would not enter the garden, for financial reasons. So those are always available every day. The garden is closed on Mondays, and any inclement weather that's like a hurricane or something like that, it's closed. Other than that, we're in our spring, summer season. This year, there will not be a Japanese cherry blossom festival. This has to be planned well in advance. So they couldn't make the call back last year because of Omicron and different variants. But of course, nature carries on. So there will be cherry blossoms. So you don't have to pay to go see them. So I hope everybody enjoys the garden at some time in the next few months.
Thank you, Amy. Ansley, you have anything to report to us? I know you did some contact with Brick and something before.
Yeah, well, there's something happening this weekend. Let me just share my screen.
Mhm.
I don't know if I can share it. Does someone have to give me permission to share it?
Yeah, Khalid has to do so.
1 second, Ainsley. You're right. Give me one. You should have it now.
Okay. Okay. So this is a family workshop that's happening for children, excuse me, ages 5 to 12 at Brick this weekend. So this is something that people might be interested in participating in, and there's on their website there's an RSVP. You have to register in advance, but it seems like something that families might be interested in, especially because I think the weather's supposed to be bad on Saturday, so it might be a good thing for people to participate in.
Ansley, are you saying that this is virtual or this is in person?
I think it's in person. Well, hold on, let's see. Yes, it's in person.
It says sold out.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Okay, well, sorry about that. So that was one
Nice
thing.
idea.
Yeah, that was one thing, and then the other thing
What's
was
it to be about?
it was being inspired by this artist, a piece by this artist Naya Perez, which is on view at Brick House right now.
Okay.
And so the idea was that people would look at the work and share your thoughts, and then make your own kind of piece of work inspired by what you were seeing. That's of what's there up at Brick House. So that was that, and then there was a. Let's see if I can get back to the. This is another thing that they have these upcoming classes, and in podcasting, in-person classes in video production and editing and things like that are media education classes that are coming up this month. Some of them are, and all of these down here are free. So,
So Ansley, can I ask a question?
yep.
Are we up to, so are you able to liaison with, Brick in such a way that they could, send us materials so that it can go on the email blast?
Yeah, sure. I can reach out to them. Mhm.
Okay, right, that would be appreciated.
Sure. All right.
This is Amy. I just have a question. Maybe it's not here, that Ainsley, not for you, but more for Julia. Are there any measurements from the board or anything about the email blast? Whether, do you capture any sort of response, or people click on it, or people who sign up for things that they read in the blast? Is there any sort of measurement of how effective it is to communicate?
That would be for Khalil. And I can't imagine that there would be, since they don't, if you put it on the email blast, I mean, just think about it. Let's walk it through. If you put it on the email blast, someone is clicking onto it. Whether they go or they don't go, you don't have any response. There is no part where you say attended or don't attend.
No,
So
that's not the point. I mean,
it's just,
do we know how many email blast emails are opened? Do we have any sort of feedback mechanism where we say, hey, at the events, it's like, how did you find out about us? And they might say CB9 blast or something like that. I just, because I've received the blast, and sometimes it's a jumble of information. So I'm wondering if that's the most effective way to kind of present some of this information. But that's probably a larger conversation, and maybe it's for the chair. But I would give it some thought in the future.
I actually, can I piggyback on, Amy, I hear your question loud and clear. I'd like to piggyback on Amy's question. Nicholas, am I being recognized?
Go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
yes. Mhm.
Okay. So my issue is a little bit larger than even Amy's. My question is, why are we having these presentations from organizations? There are 12 of us at the best, and we're talking to each other. We're all people who like the arts. We don't have to convince each other to go to the arts. And the only thing that happens is the person makes a presentation, and they either go on the blast or it doesn't go on the blast. You either went to the event or you didn't go to the event. Many times people who are on this telephone call are already interested in the arts. You don't have to convince us. So, and to be as polite as possible, the best words that come to mind is, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. We're talking to ourselves. There's a phrase, talking to the choir. No one else hears this. No one else is, scanning the minutes of the community board, Parks and Recreation, to find out what's happening in the community. That is not what's happening. Okay, so we either have an event, don't have an event, but when these people come, and I appreciate them giving their time, but it is of a false notion to them that anything's going to happen except for that you talk to the 6 people that were here. No one is coming to Parks and Recreation. I'm repeating myself. My point's been made. Thank you.
Julia, I'm right behind you, and I'm probably driving parallel to you. But again, Nicholas, maybe this is something that you push in the executive meeting, and Khalil or Mia, who's ever on the call, is the redesign of our website. Perhaps we don't bury this information, or we don't send it out in an email blast, but on our website, we might have categories saying arts and culture, what's going on this week, or what's going on in the month of March. And people who go to the CB9 board website right on the splash page, you don't have to go like 3 clicks in, but right on the splash page is like what's going on. And then you have high level topics, arts and culture, transportation in your community, maybe all the committees that we have, and they click on the arts and culture one, and here we have links to bring us to BRIC, to bring us to this, to bring us to that Dorsey. We have information that people would say, hey, happening this week. So I think this is an opportunity to bring these the arts and culture community to the community board and say, we need a presence on our website. And this would be an easy way to do it. And it's a larger conversation, but I think that since it's in the process of being done and we've been late in the game about, giving feedback, this is a good opportunity that we shouldn't miss.
Okay, well,
I just
would
want to say,
certainly-
I don't think you need me.
Hi, good evening. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Ferguson. Dante and the district staff for a good while has informed board members that the new website is being is currently in development, and we have prompted the board members many times for input on ways to improve the website when we're ready to release it, which is hopefully within this month. So I will inform my colleagues that you have these concerns, and we will reach out to you for your input on improving the website. But I would like to point out that there has been an ample time, a window of time to make these suggestions. And I'm sorry to, to hear that you're relaying this Parks Committee meeting, except other chances where you did. But I'm going to follow up with you in the morning, Ms. Pinkerton. Yes, go ahead,
All right,
please.
but that is not the direction of this conversation. It's just that the committee leaders should be involved with Dante and you and et cetera to discuss ways. And maybe this idea didn't come up we're discussing it now. Maybe the idea didn't occur before now. So it's not the point here. So the website should be something a work in progress always. And if we bring the idea now, it's not to say that we didn't have the opportunity to bring it before, but we have it now, and it would be nice to develop it from this point forward.
Understood. I will inform my colleagues of this tomorrow. I would like to point out we're working with DOITT to have the website developed and revamped. So if possible, you can shoot us an email with your recommendations. That would be helpful, but I will iterate this to my colleagues, okay?
Well, I was hoping to get to discussion a little bit after, because my suggestion would be for the next meeting, we're not going to have any speakers. This would be a working meeting to work out specific activities and action we have to do for the rest of this of there, because I don't want to do that. I think we should divide ourselves in subcommittee, maybe 2 or 3, make a list of the activities based on all the information we received since we started. Let's plan specific activity with date and time. And I was hoping to get a discussion after I hear from Ms. Baker in the community garden. So this is, and that's the stuff I wanted to bring up in new business, but it came up before. So why don't we stick to the agenda and finish up in our report, and then we could go back to this article. Okay.
Nicholas, we need to double back since we jumped around on the agenda.
Mhm.
So we need to make an approval of the minutes for.
No,
the
but
February.
that was going to be my next thing. I wanted to ask you.
Okay, I'm here to help you.
Have we achieved a quorum yet? Because we have to vote.
Oh, so you don't have you need a quorum to do that.
Correct.
I apologize. Okay.
Okay.
I would like to point out, Mr. Almanor, that if you as the chair, you have the right to remove committee members for non-compliance, and of course.
Oh no, that's going to be my next thing, because there's a lot of people who have not showing up.
Right.
And so then we probably have to go and appoint new people and that are willing to attend meeting and do the work. So that's exactly working on my mind. I've been thinking about it a lot.
Understood.
Okay, so I have.
Go ahead, Ms. Bryant.
Okay, so I have a question about that. Not that I wish anybody not to be on this committee. So if somebody who's been showing up on a regular basis, can that person be promoted to a board member?
No, it's a
How
different
does that
process.
work?
It's a different process.
You must
Okay,
go through Brooklyn Borough Hall and submit an application with them, but the deadline has passed as of March 4th, last Friday. To
That's
apply.
right. I already put my
Upcoming session.
application in. I'm good.
right,
Right.
okay.
Well, I don't know the borough president Reynoso's protocol, but prior to him, it was a rolling application basis. They would consider applications received before the deadline of maybe February or March for the forthcoming session. And any application after that date would probably be considered for the following year. So just to point that out.
Just to
Also,
point
you-
it out, I'm in. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Also, you could reach out to your council member to get a nomination to become a board member.
I just want to get the minutes voted for. That's
Yeah, and I like to go to the. All right, can we need from Ms. Pagan regarding the community gardens?
Pagan, Ms. Pagan does not have a report for this meeting.
Okay,
It's the winter.
okay. Well, thank you.
Of planting season, however, I do not have a report at this time.
Okay, when is your next activities scheduled for? At least give us some announcement.
What are you talking about?
I mean, what is the next activity for the Maple Street Community Garden? What do they plan and when do they plan to do it? So we could know. And also, I wanted to see if we could engage the other two community gardens that exist within this community board. How can we reach out to them and get them so we could have some interaction with them?
Those are the things that I shall be working on for the next meeting.
That's great because, okay, good. Because the next meeting should be a working meeting, a planning meeting for all activities regarding all aspects of what this committee deals with. Okay. And what I've been working on, that's the next, was trying to get a liaison for sports activities. So I've been reaching out to quite a few people, yet I have not gotten a good response. If you know somebody who's interested in sports in the community, but please let me know, and then we could try to appoint somebody to become member of that committee to deal with that particular area. Okay. So
Can I this is Amy again, I'm sorry, but I just
Sure.
want to let everybody know I am a board member in this committee, but my term has expired and I didn't submit another application. So Akil can attest to this. I had asked earlier what my last meeting as a member would be, and Dante had confirmed that March would be my last meeting as a board member. So I can join the meetings afterwards, but I would not be a voting member at that point.
well, you could still be a voting member because you could always be appointed as a community resident member if you're so interested.
That's what I'm saying. I can continue as a member. I just wouldn't be a voting member.
No. In our committee resident member has voting privileges.
Oh, okay. All right.
The only voting you won't have is at the regular board meeting.
Okay.
Okay. If you're interested in remaining, I think we could use a lot of hands in here. So we'll do the appointment for you as a community resident member like Julia and Brenda are. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Moving on with the agenda. We don't have a quorum because I wanted to put together a motion for the.
Yeah, we still don't have a quorum. No.
I wanted to put a motion for the motion of the art project. We're probably going to try to do that next month. Then I could move to see, are there any old business?
Is the minutes? I sent an email to you all several in regards to minutes for the meeting.
Mhm.
And just as a format has been given out, and it's great, the content of the minutes for the meeting may need to be addressed as well.
Okay, we could entertain that in our business. Because normally the normal process when minutes are submitted is they have to be approved, which means if there's a lot of things that are missing in the minutes based on what happened at the meeting, this is actually Robert's rule of order provide for you to make those corrections there. And then we're going to vote to approve the minutes. So this particular month, unfortunately, Julia had to leave very early at last meeting. And Mayna, who took the rest of the minutes, was a little bit too late in submitting her part. And the way to fix it is to go to the process to the approval of the minute section where we will combine both. And then we will try to do a quorum. We can try to do that right now and then get the minutes approved for next month. And then at that time, we could vote to approve the minutes, which means next month, we're going to have to approve the minutes for February and the minutes for March at the same time.
It's
Because-
fine. My issue is content.
Now, I
Yeah.
understand the issue was content. The reason the content was not reflected, once we have the meeting, I have the weekend to turn it over for the executive board meeting. And the part of the content that was missing, I did not have. And I try to put as much as possible what I can remember. So I know the minutes were not really reflective of what happened in the minute. I was hoping that we'll be able to fix that today and get it approved and get it reposted. That will eventually happen until we get a quorum. I would love to have get it done. I have the first part taken by Julia and the second by Maynard. The idea is to bring them together and combine them. And then to make sure that everything that happened, and that's the reason you do approval of the minutes, is reflected in the minutes, and then the minute will become official.
No, Mr. Almanar, actually, I'm sorry, let me follow. Ms. Pagan, your question in terms of, are you questioning in terms of the structure of how the minutes are written, or do you just mean specifically the minutes for last month?
I think it's maybe
Details of what was said, accomplished, voted on. Details are needed. What is the point of taking minutes if only the people who sat at the meeting can then go, oh, I remember what we talked about. The minutes are lacking in detail. And that's, I'm not sure if you understand my concern, but I looked at the minutes. They were sent out and I said, okay, but this only says one thing. I mean, we had a presentation. There were questions that were asked. None of them are reflected in the minutes for the meeting.
I'm not able to do that.
Hello?
I'm not able to do that. Excuse me.
Hello?
I-
I'm speaking. So if we have minutes for a meeting, then the minutes need to reflect what was done at the meeting.
absolutely.
Content of what was accomplished at the meeting, not just a heading that says there was a presentation. Okay, well,
What is it all about?
what was it about? You know, if I'm a community member who is not present at this meeting, who are the minutes for? If the minutes are not for the community to be able to come and look and say, oh, this is what they spoke about last month. Here are some of the questions. Here are some of the details. Here's some of what was discussed, or an overview of what was discussed. And if that's not present, then I don't understand what the minutes are for, just to say that we had a meeting.
Okay.
And are you understanding what
I understand what you're saying, but
Khalid,
the opportunity to do that is when we go to the approval of the minutes. If you're a member of the committee and some of that information admitted, at that time, this is the time to bring it up so we'll make the correction, the addition of what was missing.
The minutes were sent out to who? To you, Maina, to approve?
Well, I only received the one from Julia before the deadline where I have to submit it to the executive board.
Okay.
I
So-
subsequently received Maina much later. So, and because we did announce, and you have a 2 days turnaround to give the minutes. And that's the reason I felt the minute that was published did not reflect everything that happened in the minute. And like I said, the
it
opportunity
should not
to
have been
make the
published.
correction is always
Two
there at
talking,
the
only
next
one at
meeting.
a time.
Perhaps the minutes should not have been published if they were not ready to be published. Because we're at a meeting now where there could have been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people who could have voted yes to approve the minutes, which were effectively incomplete. You know?
No. Before we could have approved it, we have to complete it. So this was the mechanism to do so if it's incomplete.
Okay.
So if you attend any of the board meeting, any of the executive meeting, one part is that we go over, did everybody read the minute? What's missing? What's not missing? Whatever's missing has to be brought up until everybody's in agreement, this is what happened. And then that meeting become official, because what I said was the temporary minutes until it is approved. Okay?
Yeah, can I speak?
Sure, go ahead. Mhm.
Okay, so I think I'm going to reiterate what Nicholas said, but then I'm going to add something. So the first part is what goes to the executive board is unfair to us because we meet so late in the week that even if I did it tonight, and I may or not, the executive board is going to be next Tuesday.
Correct.
So we do not have a chance to review our minutes before and have you see them or anybody else on this committee see them, and they go straight to the executive board. Those minutes are not the finished minutes. Those are
Correct.
a draft. There's a draft of the minutes of what went on at the meeting.
Correct.
Then those minutes that were sent to the executive board then come back to us, and we then have a chance to add details to what
Correct.
happens. Now, I can write fast and I'm really smart. However, I do not have interest to write down what every person says in these presentations. And if somebody else has better interest to do it, they should do so, and they should add it as an afterthought, or if what their presentation is so detailed that they should give us a report of what they would like to have entered in the minutes. In other committees that I work on, if you have a report, if you want to make a presentation, then you give me a copy of the presentation. That presentation and the minutes become the minutes. Those two pieces of paper become the minutes. If nobody here comes to makes these presentations and doesn't want to give me a report, then they were at the will of whatever I can write down as fast as I can write. Okay, and sometimes I'm listening and not writing. So we're at a dilemma.
Not writing.
It's not that I'm not interested, because clearly I'm here. I am interested, but perhaps I'm paying attention to it and can't write it down. So what to do?
Minutes submitted are draft minutes. The opportunity to make them correct is at the next meeting, and then they get republished. So that's what I'm saying, if anything is missing, because we're all human. Okay. Are there any more questions on this whole business?
Okay, my hand is up.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Please go ahead. Mhm.
This is not a personal matter.
Oh, we know that. I don't take it personally either.
Okay, let me finish. It's not a personal matter. Just how we have a format for the minutes to a meeting, then there has to be some criteria for content. If someone is presenting and we want to outline whatever it is they're presenting about, that should be present. Or again, my question is, who are the minutes for? What is the purpose for the minutes? Is it just to say we had a meeting, Or are the minutes to inform whoever might check what were they talking about last month or the month before? If the minutes are there to inform non-present, non-attending community members, then the minutes need to have better detail, more detail included, outcomes, what was voted on, etc., included in those minutes, or else it's not effective. It's not going to be helpful to a community member to come and see, okay, they had a guest, but here's one thing the guest spoke about, but the guest actually spoke about 5 things. You understand what I'm saying? It has to be
I don't disagree with that either.
right. This is not a personal criticism of anyone. This is about us doing the job that we're here to do and perhaps improving on how we do it. Day by day, step by step. So it's not a personal attack. I apologize if it appears to be, but it is not. It is about let's do the job that we're here to do to the best ability. And the gentleman's name, I believe, is Khalid. Is that correct, Khalid?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
because
yes,
we're
that is
calling him everything but a child of God. Please, you know, at this point, it's March. His name is Khalid. Let's call each other by our names. Okay? All right. So we need, just as now there is a format for the minutes, now we have to look at, okay, we've got a format, but now we have to make sure that the content is up to par. That's
Hi,
it
it's
for now.
Amy. If there's
Mhm.
any time left for additional comments, I'd like to comment as well.
Yeah, there should be time. I mean, we're almost at the 90 minutes, but we could have another few minutes. Go ahead. Mhm.
I want to, first I want to appreciate Ms. Pagan. I'm totally in your
Gone.
camp in the sense that
Back on.
that I love details, and I think that, you know, it does everybody respect. The minutes are basically for the public, but they're also an official document of the board. There are no, there's very minimal guidelines as to what should be contained in minutes. I think the official guidance is topics and decisions. If there's no decision made, then you say no decision. All the discussion points are not required. However, when you do want to read minutes and you want to know what goes on in a meeting, you'd like transparency and you'd like to know what's going on. People in the meeting encourage people to participate, actively listen. So it goes both ways. It's a very gray area. The minutes are for the public, but they're also an official document. The official document doesn't require many details. The public would probably like more details. So it's kind of a yin yang type of thing. And I appreciate Julia. Nobody, and I can tell you nobody, regardless of what board it's on, community board, a co-op board, business board, nobody likes being the secretary because minute taking is an arduous task and it's not, it's never rewarded. It's you know, nobody likes to do it. So kudos to people who step up and do it. Thank you, Julia. It's very hard. I found personally, when I took minutes for my own meetings, that I would actively listen, jot down quick notes, and then summarize mostly what was discussed. And if I had questions, I would reach out to people after the meeting with an email saying, I just want to confirm if this is true. But mostly I would summarize, and I had a good memory. But perhaps going forward, if somebody is presenting, that if they have a PowerPoint slide or if they have an agenda or they have talking points, you ask all presenter to give you a summary of their discussion and literally in a sentence what they'd like to convey to the public. And maybe those could be contained in the minutes. So you don't have to actually capture them, but you maybe review them and edit for brevity, but it might be something that could be valuable to the community, and yet you don't have to spend the extra bandwidth to summarize somebody else's presentation. And just a suggestion, and that's all. Thank you.
I think it's a great suggestion. I think remember, this is something we should probably organize and make a vote on once we have a quorum. Okay, are there any more old business?
Well, actually, just to finish this topic, since we are now not going to have any further presentations, then maybe once we start going into subcommittees, that the subcommittee then have a summation of what occurred during the subcommittee.
That's right.
And then that report is then reflected in, so it's not like hearsay. It's this is what the report is, and this is what they agreed on, and then we go forward like that.
Okay. Sounds
That's my
good.
suggestion.
Well,
So
you have
that's
to
a
remember
suggestion.
this meeting is being recorded. You could always go back and watch the video for that. Okay. So if there are any more questions, I'm going to move. Are there any new business? Seeing none, motion to adjourn is in order. Since we don't have a quorum,
Richard, I think is trying to second.
You have a motion, it's just fell.
Richard, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
Nothing. I'll second the adjourning.
Okay, so we want to thank everyone for attending. I'm going to try work hard to see if we could get, I'll reach out to everybody in the committee that has not shown up for a while to find out what's happening, because we need a full committee to really get the work done, because right now we're not operating as full strength, because there's a lot of work we would like to see done, and we need the bodies and we need the involvement. Seeing none, thank you very much for attending tonight. So we will call this meeting adjourned at 8:17. So I will see you next. We will have no presentation. It's going to be a working meeting, setting up subcommittees and planning specific activities for the rest of the season. For the rest of this term.
8:37. Sorry, 8:37.
Oh,
I have 8:37.
Oh, okay. Oh, my clock is saying 8. Yeah, it's 8:37. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I misread it. 8:37. All right. Good night,
Okay,
everyone.
take care, everyone.
Push
Good
your
night.
clock. Push your clock up
Good
an
night.
hour on Saturday.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Saturday we'll move on. Bye.
Bye.
Actually, you could end the meeting.
My internet went completely bunk. I figured you guys were ending. Okay. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, Khalid. Thank you. Good night, Carl.
Good night.